right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and glad to be here. And like always, I would try to be informative, meaningful, subject, and comment like I always do. I try to be as thorough as I can, which means I am dedicated to what is right, just, and true. So tonight we're going to be covering Traore and what that means. And we got a special guest tonight. I don't know exactly where he's at, from the email, but we're gonna keep playing this program. We'll keep doing the program until he shows up. Hopefully, he will. And my buddy Elias as well. So, but without further ado, I'm going to go to what do you call it? Go to the share screen, and then we'll get it started. Uh, so I'm gonna have to excuse the noise. Kind of busy and noisy tonight. But I just want you guys to know that I will try to minimize that as much as possible. And like always, I am dedicated to what is true. What is true. In fact, I give no fuck about your feelings or emotions, my feelings and emotions, nothing. What matters is or are facts, right? So tonight, like I was saying, we're going to be covering Traore and what is going on. And why does Europe think that black people, black people worldwide, and in particular Africa, can't do without them? And this is utterly ridiculous. And it boils down to arrogance and pride and the so many centuries of collecting money that's not theirs, gold that's not theirs, and everything else that was beneficial for the African became beneficial for France. And I think France has 4 colonies along with other countries out of Africa and are collecting $500 billion. Now, I don't know, I think it might have been Mitterrand. I don't know if you pronounce that correctly in French, but he said that France cannot survive without Africa. It would sink into and become a third world company, country. And that's true. And if you can remember, um, Haiti tried to dominate, I'm sorry, France tried to dominate Haiti. And Haiti didn't take no shit. France had the biggest army, the most advanced weapons, and everything you can ever imagine. They thought they were going to walk right on in there, do what they got to do, and go home. But through pride and arrogance, they lost the war with Haiti. And now here we are again. France is not going to win. White people do not know how to fight. They know how to fight when black people are involved in that fight. So you can see that they learn how to fight through the strategy, the mental and military stratagem of Hannibal, of Carthage. The whole basis of military school in America. What's the name of it? If you're here, whoever is here, just try to remind me because I'm having a hard time pulling that up out of my memory. But it's a military school in America that teaches military strategy based on that black man out of Carthage, um, better known as Hannibal. And again, white people do not know how to fight. We have never lost a fight with these animals that we call white people. And the nerve of Macron and his manly looking and man wife had the nerve to say that, you know, Africa can't do without us. The caucasity of that is off the goddamn chart. Flip that bitch around, Macron. You can't do without us. White people can't do without us. It is a known, well-known fact. And the mental game that's being played is the, oh boy, um, is the appearance of superiority. But once you break past the veil and pull back the curtain of this fake superiority that white people have, you're going to find that they've been using the Oz effect. They're blowing smoke up everybody's asses, and particularly black people, and making themselves out to be more than what they are. They are nothing but animals, killers, rapists, pedophiles. And I don't think I have to go into that. That's another show, but I proved that in all of my other videos. And the fact that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know how to run a country. They run it into the ground. You'll be broke. And just like what happened with Portugal, with the African country of Angola, now Portugal is the playground of the Angolan elite. And I can tell you, this is my prediction. This is my prediction. I am certain of it, that France is going to become the playground of all of its colonies. Because all we got to do is just get control of our gold and get control of the economic strangleholds that allow country to grow, not only internally, but to bring about change externally, so that our economic dollars and political wherewithal in other countries, because we understand these people. We understand what is going on with the people and how these people are as far as France goes. And we can understand what it will take to make our voices heard. And that's one word, unity. And we're going to be seeing that more and more and more. It's going to become a common theme that's going to unite all of Africa. And this is what they fear. Gaddafi said it. If you kill me, you'll be opening the door to all of humanity, all of Europe, to the flows and ebbs and flows of our Islamic brotherhood. And not only that, the idea that Africa will unite itself, eliminate its borders, and take control of the minerals and all the other precious metals and or other precious items that are within the ground of Africa. It cannot be stopped now. It was never stopped before. It would slow down to a very, very, very slow ebb. But in the end, it's going to happen. Because the will of the people, like Sankara, like if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, Lumumba and other people throughout the Pan-African diaspora. White folk time is up. They know that. I don't have to go into details about that. And it is perfectly clear that when you got a mouse trapped in the corner, is going to do everything it can to escape. But there's no escaping now. They planted within our mind that uh, we don't have any. If you ever play spades, they're making it look like we don't have any spades in our hand. We got all the goddamn spades in our hand. But through treachery and trickery and how do you call that? Spelling us or putting us in a spell, a historical spell to make it look like we didn't civilize these motherfuckers 3 times. We did. You're gonna make it look like we ain't shit, and we are the shit. You see, because the black man and woman, we're the father and mother of everybody on the planet. We're the father and mother, the parents of all humanity. And this is where it must start with the future of our generation to come. And the present generation, the young one, and the one that will be following. It's just that simple. We got to understand the people and where they come from, why they come from, how they come from. White people ain't shit. It's been proven. And I say this over and over and over again. There's nothing mystical about these motherfuckers. They are mediocre at best. At best. Our worst beat their best. That's just how it is. I'm not trying to be misleading, uh, talking outside of my neck with false information. It has been proven time and time and time again. And they know this. Whatever sport, whatever activity, whatever economic and political game that's being played, we created that shit. We created banking. We created lending and so on and so forth. We created the stock market. If you ever take a look at King Louis XIV, who was the Sun King, and all of the kings before him, but Louis XIV was the very one that allowed France to be as powerful as it is. He ruled that bitch with an iron hand. And so tonight we're going to be looking at a couple of things. We're not going to be here long. I don't know what the heck is going on with email. I don't know. Hold on. Let me see if I can get them. So I'm going to come in. Hopefully he'll be on. So I'm going to see what the hell is going on. I don't know what's happening. But we're going to go forward and see what the hell is going on. And then hopefully my buddy Elias and Emil will come on. And we'll see what's cracking. But anyways, let me continue on. And we're going to... No. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Shit. What the hell? Copy. Okay. Okay, so now he has the link, so hopefully he'll be on. But we're gonna go on, and let's see, let's give me let's give him 2 minutes and see what's cracking. Um, hopefully we. But like I was saying, France is full of shit. They lost to Haiti, and they think they can win. And they lost to Haiti in the 1800s, the late 1800s, and they think they're gonna win in 2025. What the hell for who? What the hell for no motherfucker? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Isaiah, Elder Isaiah?
Yeah, just call me Isaiah, man. You're making me sound old.
All right then.
Okay, yeah, you got it, man. What's going on? So, I did my little intro. I haven't gone too far, but I'm looking forward to this conversation because you brought
Hmm.
it to me, and I've been thinking about it and thinking about it, thinking about it. Okay, well, maybe somebody will come up and mention it, and you did. So we're here tonight, really trying to, not trying to, but we're going to really get in depth as to what is going on. Now, what I did was I mentioned the fact that France lost to Haiti. How the fuck they gonna think they're gonna win now? I wouldn't give a fuck if they got nuclear bombs and all that other bullshit. White people can't fight. They don't know how to fight. They learn how to fight from us. And I don't. If you know that the military school and in the United States, uh, I'm trying to remember it. Do you know the military school in the United States? Uh,
Mm,
damn.
a U.S.
Yeah.
Naval Academy.
No, 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 no.
Are you talking?
No. Damn it. But anyway, that school bases their training on Hannibal. And Hannibal of Carthage was an indestructible leader and military strategist. And, these strategies are used today. Now, he lived like thousands of years ago. Can you imagine your name is still being uttered out of the mouths of people? And military schools and the worldwide. That's how much of an impact this man had. And so when I thought about that, I like every war that white folk been in, they won it because they were black people who were there. The American Liberation War, or not the American Liberation. You know what I'm trying to say? Oh shit, the war of 1776 and every war thereafter. It was black men who played an integral part of the victories in America, and especially the president running up uh, San Juan Hill. He didn't run up nothing. It was black people, the Buffalo Soldiers, who did that. So what I'm trying to say is that if they
And it's
lost,
also thanks to black men who helped America win World War I and World War II.
yes, yes,
Even
and
though even though they fought in segregated units,
yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah,
the backbones of black men that helped America win both wars. And
right,
if there's
right,
ever a World War III, they will probably help this nation win World War III.
exactly, exactly. And the name of the school is called West Point in America, the most celebrated
What
military
West
school in
Naval
the world.
Academy?
Yeah, West Point Academy. Yeah,
Oh, West
yeah,
Point. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So before you came on, I was giving a little bit of breakdown of the noise that France and Macron is making. This idiot is saying that Africa can't stand its own 2 feet like a 2 month old baby. Motherfucker, we've been around since.
That's what these reprobate-minded crackers always say,
Yeah,
and I can't stand them. I can't stand them when they say that. They're just looking for excuses to rule over African people. Because
right,
African people ruled many advanced kingdoms and civilizations before these Europeans came along, which clearly shows that they were prosperous and successful without them, and we're running their own resources on the continent.
exactly. And the people in or I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say race. And the people who controlled all of Europe from the first king queen up until the 1880s, when white people finally broke the yoke of black people across their neck,
Mm-hmm.
was we ruled France and England and Scotland and Ireland and
Yeah, the
uh,
Moors.
right. But I'm just saying in regard to the black European, the more that well, okay, but I think you might have been referring to the 800-year rule over white people, but they were actually black. But the white people came later, in Spain and Portugal. But the idea is, Emil, is that we've always been in control of the world, and we created latitude and longitude, and we had a a stranglehold on international trade. These motherfuckers came in after we began to fight amongst each other to
Mm-hmm.
weaken our own foundation. So when two brothers fight, there's an old African proverb that says, "When two brothers fight, the stranger in the middle gets the key to the house," and that's exactly what
The
happened.
colonizer inherits the land. The colonizer inherits the land.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
that's also what the movie Black Panther showed melanated people.
Yeah, yeah,
When T'Challa and Killmonger were fighting each other, and then that cracker CIA agent at the end of the movie was overseeing the Wakandans share their resources to the whole world except for melanated people, of low income backgrounds and impoverished communities who are struggling.
exactly, exactly. And so, my point too, my point also is the fact that when you look at all the time, brother Emil, when white people came in and took it over, they came and took over Egypt. They lost it because they don't have the intelligence and emotional quotient to run a motherfucking thing. They don't know how to do a damn thing correctly. And this is the reason why they only stay in control for about 150 years. And
Hmm.
so if you look at Egypt, if you look at Greece and Rome, and now they're losing it, and they're losing their fucking mind because they can't understand how and why they lose it because they don't have the wisdom, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the understanding to keep things going, and that's the reason why they fell out of. Oh, okay, that's it para mí. No, no. But espérate, wait a minute, Emma. Agua está hirviendo fuertemente para abajo, ¿verdad? Yo no sé, un chin de agua está, ¿ah? No, porque es de la alfombra que está subiendo en el aire de agua. I'm sorry.
You're good.
So you got to realize these people, man, they've been brainwashed into believing their superiority, but their superiority is based on bullshit, lies, and deceit, which is the subtitle of my book. And one of the things that I talk about are two people, so-called white people. But white as a construct, as a race, didn't start until 1680. Didn't really cement into the minds of these weak-minded people until about 1880. So it took 200 years for that lie to get filtered down and filtered in and accepted by these people. You feeling me? So when you
Yep,
look
yep.
at the yeah, so when you're looking at the historical significance of Meisner and Blumenbach, Blumenbach took his funky ass over there to Greece and Rome and looked at a white alabaster statue that was not painted yet. They were going to paint it black because all of the Greeks and all of the Romans were black people. And
The Greek gods and goddesses were black too, such as
yes, yes,
Zeus,
yes,
Athena,
yes,
and Heracles.
yes, yes, everything.
So
Nike.
was Gilgamesh. So was
Yes,
Gilgamesh.
yes, 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 yes. Exactly. You know the deal. And so when he
And
came back to
what do you know? Are you familiar with shoot, Aesop. Aesop.
Yeah, yeah,
He's the Greek man who
yeah,
created all these fables.
yeah, 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 yeah. Of
He's
course,
black too, because when
yeah,
you
of
look
course.
at when you look at his animal fables, they're
Right,
very they
human-like.
correlate very well and reminiscent of African animal folk
Hmm.
tales.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. And like we were talking about before we continue on to all of these things that we got, I don't think we're going to be here for too much longer. I'm thinking about another hour and 15 minutes or so. But if you look at all of the Greek philosophers that are called white, even even the Greeks who were they weren't white at that point, but it's just for argument's sake, let's call them white. They admit that they get all their shit from Egypt. Not only the
yeah.
architecture, not only language, not only the culture, not only custom, but but the gods and goddesses, and the architecture is
And and,
exactly
and
the
and
same.
also the evil eye. Are you familiar with the evil eye?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's
Yeah,
like the blue eye used to ward off
yeah,
evil spirits. They got that from the eye of Horus.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all too similar.
And that's what you see at the top of the pyramid on the back of the dollar. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call it the evil eye, but uh it's in what I've studied. It's uh what the word I'm looking for. I try to choose the word correctly, but it's oh well, but it's akin to the Kabbalah. I don't know if you ever heard of the Kabbalah and the Jewish
Are you talking
mysticism.
about the pineal gland?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. See, but when you look at the Bible, I think it's written because I've spoken to my rabbi, right, and he's very much aware of what's going on. So when if you are a neophyte, a new person coming in, the Bible is written to a level where if you're looking at the Bible from the normal book and you got all of these pages and stuff in it with pictures and stuff, it's written to the point where the initiate can relate to it because it could be like a child reading it. But there are deeper, deeper meaning. I mean, you got mathematics, you got frequency, which is what God is. God is not something in the sky; it's something in you that is like how you can get water level, right? It's not high or it's not low. It's level. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're awakened, or when you are awakening the God in you start low, right? I don't know if you can see me. Oh, here we go. You start low as a kid, and as you grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, you level out until you become the God that you were intended to be. And so when you begin to understand, it's not gonna. You can live 10,000 lifetimes. You will never know everything. But like I speak with my wife or talk with my wife, it's not about you knowing everything. It's about you knowing, or it's about you feeling everything. And in your feeling, you blossom more because you're not so concentrated on one thing. As you expand, right? It's like it's like a it's like a sponge. A sponge come in at at a certain length or width and height, but if it becomes wet, excuse me, if it becomes wet, it expands. So that's exactly what your heart, mind, and soul is like. It's like a sponge. But the more
Mm-hmm.
open you are, Emil, the more open you are, the greater the chance of you feeling God. And this is when you start to see the very essence of God of everything and everything around you. And that's when you begin to have your burning bush moment. Isn't that wasn't exact? I don't know if the guy ever existed or not, but it's a good story. But even Moses and the burning bush, everybody had that. I've had that experience. You know what I mean? And I can sit here and tell you what they were, but that's a personal thing for me, and perhaps you might not be able to understand it, or feel it, not understand, but feel.
Are,
Now let me take that back.
are
You be able to may not be able to understand it, but you can feel it by through your feeling. You can understand. You feel me? Go ahead.
are you talking about out of body experiences? Because
No,
I've
no,
had
no,
those.
no, no. I'm not. I never had that. I'm gonna be honest. What happened with me, right, is that when I was in, and this, is I don't share this story often. Very, very, very rare. So I'm gonna do it with you. I would remember I was in the second grade. I think you had to be like 6 or 7, somewhere around. And I was highly connected or spiritual at that moment. You know what I mean? I've been like that forever. And
I
uh,
feel you. I feel the same way you feel.
yeah, yeah. And you once you connect to that frequency, you let go of all the bullshit. You begin to connect with the God in you. And so when I went to the something told me to go uh, to the locker room where I had my stuff uh, stored for whatever activity that they were going to do. And so I go to to the locker room, well, the boys' locker room, and somehow, some way, my boot, the snow boot, was out of my locker. The other one was in the locker. And so I approached my boot and I saw my name in it. I said, because I was facing, I was here's the wall. No, here's the wall, and I was facing toward the wall. Now behind me was a window, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
as I'm standing and looking at my boot, I felt this light that come into the storage and into the locker room. Now this was no light normal. I felt that shit. You know what I mean? I knew that was God talking to me. And he said, or she said, or it said, or the universe said, I will lead my people back to the promised land. No joke. Well, very, very long time. And all I could do was, after hearing that, just bow my head and say, okay, Lord. You know what I mean? Very, very odd. And I felt out of the way, but like, who am I? You know what I mean? But in the end, after all those trials and tribulation and asking questions, I began to grow. I let it go. I stopped asking myself, who am I? And I began to say, I am that individual because that's truly God's name. I am that I am. And so as I grew, I became more accepting of that role. And you know what? Africa, Middle East, nowhere on this fucking globe is the promised land. The promised land is right here, right between your ears. And I can understand that because I've done it myself. I've been at peace. And so when you are at peace with yourself, you are in, it is incumbent upon me, you, and everybody else to help other people to see that the promised land is not in America. It's right inside of you. And the more you connect to the positivity of that, to your own uh, frequency and vibration and all of that, and understanding the geometrical, uh, 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 um, how do you say that, geometrical spirituality of life and the mathematics that is involved in it and how it keeps going and going and going and never stop, it began to make sense to you that you would never stop. You never your life is not based on this world in which we live in. It is connected to the ancients of days, which will never end. So what we are experiencing now is just a, 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 um, a moment in time.
Illusion.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's just a moment in time. And the more you stay connected to you and what your principles are, and what your foundation is, and what your goal is in life, you will find yourself being more happy. Because happiness means doing a thing or things in your life that give you meaning, purpose, sense of direction, and fulfillment. Now, that's not those are not my words. It's the words of my mother long before she died. But that seed of understanding what happiness means is not a fleeting moment. It's constant because you know damn well once you have peace in your mind, heart, and soul, nobody's gonna come along and snatch that from you. You're gonna beat the shit out of them, verbally or otherwise, because you want to maintain peace. And this is the reason why some people I don't do it, but some people hum om because it has a certain relevance and a certain frequency that is that of God. And so when we say shalom, it's the same kind of deal. But whatever it is, whether it's a word or a sentence or a paragraph that motivates you, that uplifts you, that brings that air of God up under your wings, allow you to fly effortlessly, that's it. Nobody can take that from you. This is the reason why I don't get fucking emotional. I stay the fuck away from people who are emotional because I don't give a fuck. See, because as soon as you can recognize that, everything else doesn't matter because you will want to be around people who are better than you, right? Not better in the uppity sense, but have more of a spiritual connect because you want to elevate yourself to that level too.
Hmm.
So that's how it is. And this is why I say, and I have other experiences with God, man. It's like I was going southbound with my mother to her mother's house, my grandmother, and I bowed my head for like a couple of seconds, and I asked God to show me your might. Within not even half of a nanosecond after that request, there were no clouds in the sky. It started raining like cats and dogs on the northbound side of the highway. On our side, it was dry as fuck, sunny. I'm like, what the? So I asked for it, and then I got it. So now, there is no question in my mind that the God of Isaiah is very real. That I can manifest whatever I want to exist in life, good and or bad. But what the God in me says, and this is something that has to happen every day with you, with everybody, that it is a constant turning over the soil of positivity and a planting the seeds of greatness in you, in me, and maintaining that. Because if you don't, other people's seeds of negativity gonna feed right into your brain, right into your heart, right into your soul, and you're gonna forget about all of your principles. So that is why we must, if we're gonna stay within the promised land of our mind, which is fertile, and very open, if that's the correct word I'm looking for, is very fertile in regard to what you plant in it. And what you plant in it must be and has to be and will always be seeds of greatness, seeds of peace, seeds of the thing that you want to manifest in your life. It's just like, you hungry, you're thinking about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you manifest that within 5 minutes. Piece of bread or two pieces of bread, a knife or a spoon, and the peanut butter and jelly. You do. That's manifesting because it first start here, then you talk it out, and then you work it out by bringing it into existence. Actions speak louder than words. But yeah, that's what happened with me. There are a lot of other things too, but I really don't want to go into them. But the one when I was a little boy, that spoke volumes, man, because it took a lot of uh, spiritual growth for me to see that and to
Hmm.
accept it, you know. So I in my heart and soul, I want everyone to be at peace, but that's not going to ever happen. Not everyone is going to be at peace because how are you going to know what peace is if you don't know what war
Yeah.
is? You know what I mean? We live in that dichotomous existence, good and bad, up and down, right and wrong, in and out. It's just how it is. And once we accept that, and I'm gonna send you some other video too, man. That's just mind blowing. But how you accept that is how you will be in existing life, man. It really is just that simple, man. It's nothing. It's nothing hard, and life is not a difficult thing to accept. I mean, we're gonna live, we're gonna die. But to me, these are my words. You must live, love, laugh, and learn, man. And once you pass that on to your kids, you have done them great harm. No, you have done them a great leap, or given them a great leap forward. Because if, as a father, you can't just allow your kid to be out here not knowing anything.
Yeah.
So it's always a blessing as a parent, as a brother, as a cousin, as a citizen of the world that you speak and you speak on it, and you don't know who's going to listen, man, and who's going to be uh, moved by your words. So you know, I can't convince everybody, but I'm not in the convincing business. I can only speak and hoping that that person's mind uh, and the eye of his mind is open. And once that person accept what I'm talking about and to move on it, then that person's life may be revolutionary, man. Because just look at Sankara and his words and actions has manifested and planted seeds within the heart and soul of Africa. And now
Yeah.
Traore, yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same
I just
thing.
happened to come across a post on Facebook how Thomas Sankara predicted the rise of Abraham Traore.
Really? Oh, wow.
You
Okay.
know, one thing I realized from another individual is that no matter how much these crackers keep killing these black leaders,
Mhm.
they're never going to be successful from it or benefit because just there's just going to be one will rise after another.
Yes, yes, that did.
Because and that just shows that melanated people over the world are really and truly the chosen ones of the Most High.
Yes,
That's why
exactly.
nobody can ever. That's why no one can ever succeed in destroying y'all.
No, because
As the scripture says, no weapon against y'all shall prosper,
right, right.
and that's what we're seeing.
Hmm.
So they can physically kill y'all's leaders, but one will always rise after another, and
Hmm.
put into fruition the ultimate success, prosperity, and liberation of melanin folk.
Yes, yes. And I would add also that the will of the people can never be broken. The will of the
Hmm.
people will never be broken because the will is what will bring about the actions that will not only liberate people but will also elevate them to a higher level where these knuckleheads like Macron and Trump or whatever the case may be, they're peons in regard to what we can do as a people. White folks, like I said, are dumb. They're dumb spiritually, they're dumb mentally, they're dumb emotionally, they're dumb in every facet of life. They have never done anything other than to destroy. And the fourth thing that they brought to the table of humanity were death, destruction, disease, and despair. They don't know how to do anything positive.
It's
Nothing.
it's embedded in their nature. It's embedded in their nature. That's just how they
Yeah,
are. You're gonna have to take it with a
exactly.
grain of salt.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned that book to you, The Iceman's Inheritance. I forget the name of the author, but that's an excellent book. That's an excellent book. Outside of mine, but that's an excellent book, man. So it really tells you what their true nature is. And all of what they've done, as far as pedophilia, as far as eating kids, as far as fucking kids, as far as killing kids, as far as, and over the last 4 years or so, they done killed 150 million people plus, and those people are still dying from the vaccine. So,
Yeah, it was Bill Gates and Fauci who mostly did
yeah,
that shit.
yeah, yeah. And nobody hasn't arrested these motherfuckers yet.
Yeah, because that's the system we live in. This system is run by criminals. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
Trump is. in office in the first place. He's
Yeah,
a convicted felon indicted of all 34 counts, yet he's still in office.
right.
Because the
I
world is run by criminals. The world is run by criminals.
mhm.
That's why we
Yeah,
pay taxes. That's why we pay taxes. That's why we have to pay for a living. We have to pay to survive. We have to pay to be educated. Well, they all benefit off of that because
exactly.
they're wicked and criminal minded,
I'm not gonna
and
argue.
they just have to they all have to be taken out. And that's
Right.
why, it's not just Burkina Faso that needs Abraham Traore.
Yeah.
All other parts of the world, every continent, every
Yeah.
country needs people like Abraham Traore to take down all these wicked motherfuckers who are running the planet.
Yeah, but I always been taught, brother email, before we go on, that evil will always destroy itself in the end, and those who partake in it, always ALWAYS, and in all ways ALLWAYS. That was beaten into me figuratively by my parents. Don't start fucking around with evil and evil people because they'll bring you down. It's not worth getting involved in it because once you it's easier to avoid problems than it is to take yourself out of it. And white folks are knee deep to a gopher's ass in problems, and they're not as successful as they want to pretend. All of Europe is broke, and the
You
only
said all of Europe is broke.
yeah they
Yeah,
broke them.
their economy is suffering, and that's judgment on them by the Most High for all the wickedness that they've done. And it's the same with America, as we're seeing right now.
Well, but
Their
Angola,
system is falling.
right? But Angola used to be a colony of Portugal, and they were saying this and that. We're going to rule over you forever. Now look at what happened. Angola has come back from the dead, basically, economically speaking, took control of their wealth and took all of that wealth and started buying up the bonds and the government bond bills and notes of Portugal. And now Portugal is the playground of the Angolan elite and the people. So when the Angolans go there, the police don't fuck with them. You know why? Because money talking bullshit walk. That's the problem. No motherfucker gonna uh, uh, respect a motherfucker that's broke. And this is and this is the reason why France and Germany and all these motherfuckers talking all that shit. But who are they leaning and depending on? Black folk
Hmm.
out of you know what I mean? So once we stop all that bullshit, start to unite and get united and take that new one currency that represents all of Africa and put all of the resources that's in the ground, above the ground, behind that currency, XRP ain't gonna looking like it's not gonna be looking like shit. We're gonna run XRP. We're gonna run the digital DeFi world. You feel me? So
Yep, yep.
Africa's not dumb. It was a black guy who created DeFi. So hopefully he'll get his just desert. Yeah, hopefully he'll get his just desert, and then he'll be in the trillions of dollars, man. Because brother Emil, man, this new economy that we're going into is worth at least 30 quadrillion dollars. Fucking wild, man. And people
Yeah.
who are not the people who are not taking a part of it, the XRP or the Flare or uh, whatever other crypto. To me, XRP is the way to go. There's no other one that I know about because XRP can handle quadrillions of dollars in a matter of seconds to have that transferred to wherever you want to go on this blockchain that they got. And it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And you're not going to see any more banks. You're going to be in your own personal bank. There will be no more banks. This is the game changer, man. There'll be no more banks. There'll be no more brokerage firms. There will be no more whatever else that we're used to having. We will not have anymore. And
I just saw
this,
today. I just saw my news feed today. This morning on Google. As soon as I woke up, when I went to check my Google feed, I was reading about these bank outages, and I'm
yeah,
like, that is very wild indeed.
and and people are look. People are sleeping, man. I don't like how do you sleep through this bullshit? You know what I
No,
mean?
and people are still partying. People are still, partying, drinking, going to clubs and stuff,
Yeah,
twerking.
yeah, and they don't even see
No,
it.
no, no, no. This is not a good time to be distracted. And
No,
I'm gonna
no.
be honest with you, I didn't pay attention to that Shannon Sharp or bullshit because I think it's another form of distraction created to distract black people even more from bigger issues that's going on.
Of course, of course. Not,
Let's be real. Let's be real. There are I see a few African Americans on YouTube that are talking about
yeah,
Abraham Traore, who is the
yeah,
big deal right now. But
right,
as a
right.
collective, does Black America care about Abraham Traore? No. A lot of them still identify themselves as FBA
Mm,
and spreading all this misconception and hatred towards African people, and also
mm,
accusing African people of hating Black Americans, and that
uh,
Black Americans have their own issues to take care of here in the U.S.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And then you have
yeah,
another, you have another large percentage that's, not even, focused with this stuff that's going on with black people over the world, but are just, focused on the lesser form of things like celebrity gossip, this, that,
right.
and the fucking third. Like what these rappers got going on.
Yeah, mm,
I don't know. That's just not the world in reality I live in. And I'm glad
mm,
because the rest of the people that continue to you know invest in these kinds of worldly distractions, they're gonna be doomed, and
right.
they're gonna fall with the cracker.
Of course. And it's like I was saying, evil always destroys itself, and everybody who
Yeah.
takes part in it, it never fails. It's the ultimate understanding because once you do that, and once you have that understanding firmly anchored in your heart, mind, and soul, you're going to avoid people who are into negativity or evil to whatever degree that may be, because it's not worth it. Because once again, it's going to break your peace in your promised land, and you don't want that happening. Like once you're into trouble, it's easier to get into trouble than it is to get out of it. I mean, and it may cost you. You know
Yeah.
how you? Yeah, my mother used to say, when you got your hand in the lion's mouth, ease it out. Because if you don't, you try to snatch it out, then you're going to lose your hand and arm probably. But if you're in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
get out very, very slowly and on purpose. You can't afford it, man. You can't. But anyway, let's go through these. We don't have a hold on. We don't have a lot. Yeah, we don't have a lot, but we have enough to prove our point, and that's what I really like when I do the show. I always like being thorough and looking at the pros and the
Mm-hmm.
cons of a given situation. So let's go to the first one. Now the first one is 3 minutes. Yeah, a lot of these videos are not very long. I think the longest one was like 10 minutes, but it proved the point. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go to the first one dealing with Papa has a message for Africa, and this guy is really making his point. So let's watch it and see what happens.
Hey man, look at a young man of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. Watch the action of this man. He said, no, Africa is not poor. Africa is rich. The foreign country has made Africa to see them as a poor people. When these foreigners are coming to look for our gold and our oils, and makes our leader to see them as a big people that we needed in our life.
The video is kind of breaking up.
In their
Hold on.
knowledge. The
Say what now? Was the break? Ah, Emil, you here? Oh, wow. Hey, can you hear me? Okay, here we go. Can you hear me?
You're breaking, and
Yeah.
it's also a static. I can hear you. It's just that you're breaking, and I
Okay.
also got kicked out too. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's YouTube doing this,
Yeah. Well, nothing
because
happening
that's what
here.
they did on Maurice's channel last Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have any problem on my computer. Not the internet connection. It might be on your end, but let's start that again, and then we'll watch it from the beginning. Let me know if you can hear it.
Amen.
Oh,
Look at a young man of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. Watch the action of this man. He said, no, Africa is not poor. Africa is rich. The foreign country has made Africa to see them as a poor people. When these foreigners are coming to look for our gold and our oils, and makes our leader to see them as a big people that we needed in our life. You have leaders that has nothing in their knowledge. The only thing they are after there is the money, the what they get, and they forget that that thing belongs to them. The oil belongs to us. Amen. But look at the oil that belongs to you today. Fuel is always increasing. Go to Burkina Faso, and the man has given free education because you understand the life. These things is their children. These are my children. This is our country. Anything we are paying is it not our money? We are paying to us our money. What are we doing to ourselves? We rob our children, put inside our pocket in our country. If not for the bad government robbing your people, collecting tax anyhow, putting in your pocket, banking the banking overseas. Many banking overseas, the money with there, the Nigerian leaders, the money that we bank in overseas is enough for Nigeria. If we share those monies to everybody in Nigeria, every of us will have $1 million. Nothing moves in this country. Like I said, the times without number. And it's high time we, the new generation, Africans as a large, arise. Let's all take back our own country, all the whole Africa, and a great revolution or revolution is coming. The whole Africa will shut down all their bad leaders. Not, I'm not. That is when I say moving around. There will be what are they calling this? A revolution everywhere. People will come out. Africa has lost a lot. Our resources. I have told you this, that every sons and daughters of this country, you have a right for government to pay you every month salary. It is your right. And another right of every sons and daughters of this country, you have a right for government to provide a job for you, whether you are a graduate or whether you are not a graduate. It is your right. And nobody have any right to shut your mouth to talk to the government because the government belongs to it.
Any thoughts on that one, man? Hello.
straight facts.
Oh wow, you got taken out again. What the hell is going on? Were you able to
It
hear it?
might be. It might. Yeah, I was. This time I was able to hear it.
Okay, okay. Well, what do you think about that video?
Yeah, he's talking straight facts. What country is he from?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I had erased it off the show. But
Because
I'm part of
because
Africa.
I was on another live stream before this one, where another individual said that they have their own Traore right now in Nigeria.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's part of the AES. What do you call it? Yeah, I know the acronym is AES. These Sahel territory,
Yeah,
Mali,
yeah, yeah.
Niger, and Burkina Faso. And there's some other one that's joining too. Hold on for a second. There's other one that's joining too. Hold on.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find my stick that scratched my back. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I guess I'm
Oh,
gonna
you're
have to.
fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be prepared before the show rather than trying to go through this again. But okay, so we're gonna go to the next video, which is a minute and 15 seconds long, and we'll let it play.
Some major breaking news from Burkina Faso. And let me tell you, for the first time, the government of Burkina Faso has shown the video of the money that was being transacted just to remove Ibrahim Traore. And I'm telling you, I have the video here. I'm going to show you how much that money was. I told you that it was $5 million. And the person that was given all this money, remember, was promised a full citizenship in a foreign country, a lot of monthly income, and all his family would go and live in that land. And just imagine, this bodyguard of Ibrahim Traore decided that he's not going to give out Ibrahim Traore. So he went with all this money in a vehicle and presented it to Ibrahim Traore and said, I cannot afford to lose you because of money. I'm telling you, a lot of money was being transacted. And many Africans are asking, why are these people affording to get all this money to just remove one person instead of helping the people of Africa? It means that the resources in Africa are so many you cannot finish it. Just imagine.
Any thoughts about that one, buddy?
So based on my understanding, he was paid that amount to take out Ibrahim Traore.
Yeah, they were looking to pay him, but the thing is, okay, he kills him, and then how he gonna get out of here to get the money? They're gonna kill his ass and catch him. So
And
it's
then I,
not
and
even.
then I heard and then I heard in the video that he cannot he's giving the money to Ibrahim Traore, right? And then
Right,
he
yeah,
said that he cannot afford to lose Ibrahim Traore, so that means that he's admitting to Ibrahim Traore that he was tasked to kill him, but he's not going
right.
to. Is that
No,
right?
is that right? That is correct.
That's all right. That's a man of integrity.
That is correct. Yeah. Now this is where I'm a big fan of. I don't
But
know if you
but
ever heard of.
but that's very concerning though, because it just comes to show you who else within Ibrahim Traore's circle is after him.
Of course.
Because he does not trust anyone, not even
No,
his
I
own
mean,
people. Because
I agree.
they keep using his own, like what Malcolm X warned about. They'll always use your own to kill your own.
Of
It's
course.
always his
And, that,
own who's trying to kill him.
and that's exactly what happened to Sankara and the other guy before him. You know what I mean?
Patrice Lumumba.
Yeah, Lamumba and Sakar.
Yeah.
Their best friends killed them or had them killed. And
Who
once you do that, you lose all credibility. So he did it right. He brought that money to Traore in order to show that his not only his loyalty and faith in what they're trying to do, but also figuring out who did what, when, where, and how, and arrest them. But if I were him and everybody that's been trying to kill me, I'm going to kill him.
So you think Abraham Traore should have killed that individual who was paid that 5 million?
Oh no, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because he's showing his loyalty. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about all of the people who have been caught who were trying to assassinate him. And then I would have had him killed. See, because that stops all that bullshit. And I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if we put them in jail or whatever the case may be. But if I was Traore, I would kill him. No, no trial, no nothing. I would kill him.
This individual that was paid to kill Traore, even though he was honest about it, I think Traore should have put heavy surveillance on him. Because
Yeah,
for him to be tasked with killing Traore, he must have. I feel like the colonizers must have picked up something from him. He must have said something against Traore, and they probably chose him to do their bidding.
yeah,
That's how I
that's a
see
good
it.
question. Yeah, that's a good question. How did they know that this guy would be open to the idea
Yeah,
of
he
killing?
probably he probably said something opposing Traore, so he was probably tasked and chosen to do the job. But then somehow he came out admitting to Traore later on that he was tasked and paid that amount of money to kill him.
Right, right.
I
I agree.
appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the honesty, but now that I think about it, I'm looking at him with the side eye
Of
because
course.
I don't know what further intentions he has. Like he
Yeah,
needs to be locked up.
right. No, no. You know, uh, one of my favorite books um, was by Machiavelli, Prince Machiavelli. And the most current book that is out there, has been out there for quite a while, is called The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It is an excellent book that will allow you to see the inside or the work and the inner workings of people's mind. And sometimes you think you trust in someone that need to be trusted is the one that's going to stab you in the back. But I also think about the Godfather, the movie. Michael Corleone, was it Michael Corleone? He said, no, that was his father. He was saying, keep your friends close,
But your
but
enemy's closer.
yes,
My mom
yes,
says that. My mom says that a lot because we have a lot of snakes in our family as well.
yeah. There you go. There you go. It
Some
just,
some some of which my mom helped get here legally, and then one
mm,
of them ended up backstabbing her.
mm, wow. Well, your mother is very wise, so
Mm-hmm.
uh, she knows how and what to do with people like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on to the next one. Now, this one is 8 minutes long. Now, this sister really nailed it, in my opinion. So we're gonna take a minute and 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes, and listen to her.
Mm-hmm. Some of my colleagues asked me what I thought about Trump actually segregating whites and blacks. And I actually told them straight up, like, honestly, I would love that. Now, they looked at me like I was crazy and they almost spit up their almond milk. And I think they thought that maybe I was saying that out of hatred, but it really isn't about hatred. Here's the thing. I'm not talking about their version of segregation. See, I'm talking about our version of righteous separation, spiritual sovereignty, and black sufficiency. See, the truth of it is that integration was never about freedom. It was finesse.
It was a system's way of saying, let's stop them from succeeding independently so we can profit from their brilliance directly. It was about control. And so I want us to be very clear about this. We were never separate but equal. So that's a lie. We were separate and excelling. We had our own schools, we had our own banks, we had our own businesses, and baby, we were thriving. Black Wall Street, they burned it. Rosewood, they bombed it. Wilmington, they overthrew it. Why? Because we were doing too well without them, and they couldn't handle that. And so that's the truth. They didn't really want segregation gone. They wanted control. This is why we know that integration was just repackage of chains. When we were separate, we actually were building and excelling. And when they saw that we could excel without them, then it was like, oh no, we got to take control and make sure that their labor is profiting us. So right around that time, they rolled out this whole standardized testing, ACT and SAT. Y'all remember that? They created this IQ ranking to measure their norms, not our brilliance. And then we were said we were behind when we really weren't. We were just building our own lane, not asking for theirs. See, I don't know about you all, but I'm kind of tired of the lies. It's very exhausting, just the lies that continue to be promoted. And I want to talk about the melanin, because this whole thing that we're not smart enough, that we're not bright enough, is simply just a lie. And so, all this testing that they're doing, and I have kids in school, and they're made to feel that they cannot achieve. And I have to remind them about their actual superpower, melanin. See, not just your skin tone, but in your brain, specifically neuromelanin, that rich dark pigment found in areas like the substantia nigra, which are critical for learning and memory and decision making and emotional regulation. See, if you don't know, then you won't know how to respond. But when you learn about the studies that have actually linked the neuromelanin to higher concentrations and how it's related to enhanced memory and processing and higher intelligence and faster reaction times, then you know why they have hidden this information for so long. Because when you have higher melanin, you have stronger brain resilience against degenerative diseases. So translation to that is melanin doesn't just make you glow, it makes you grow. So we know that it's not coincidental that people with more melanin have historically been creators, inventors, innovators across every discipline, while also being the most suppressed, because they know that the more melanin you have in your body and in your brain actually produces higher intelligence. So the Bible also says this too in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 7. It says he placed treasures in earthen vessels. What treasures? It was in us all along, right? So we have more melanin, and we know that people with less melanin, because it's a recessive gene and it's a mutation, lack the same level of intelligence, many different benefits that come along with that. What's so interesting about it is that we're supposed to be looking at this as if it's something negative. But why is it negative when every other cultural group does this? Group economics. See, the truth of the matter is they have stolen from us so many different things, and yet we still survive. And so I don't want to offend, but I have to be blunt here. When we invented it, they patented it. When we built it, they banked on it. So everything we created, they made sure they benefited off of it. Just like Louis Latimer, he actually developed the light bulb, but Edison got all the glory for it. And this has been going on through history. We know that Granville T. Woods laid the foundation for trains. Corporations got the contracts. Dr. Patricia Bath revolutionized eye surgery. The system licensed the tech. Black music became white record labels, billion-dollar industries off of our talent. Every time we create, they capitalize. We are the genius. but they control the royalties. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So when we talk about the facts and segregation, I want to be very clear. It's not racist. We have to understand the dynamics of this. See, the black dollar actually is the fastest running dollar in America. So let's do the math here. And I think it's quite funny. Black people have spending power over 1.6 trillion. But guess what? That dollar stays in our community just for 6 hours. While the white community, their dollar stays in their community 17 days. And guess what? Asian communities, it stays in their community 20 days. Jewish communities over 3 weeks. Why? Because we're systemically disarmed from owning what we build. And this is no coinky dink. The scripture said this would happen. So now our dollar does the labor, but the system collects the check. And this is why I support segregation on our own terms. See, that 400 years of slavery is over. And when I say that I want us to be segregated, I don't mean oppress. I mean organize. Let's build black banks again. Let's educate our babies on the truth, not whitewashed lies. And let's support black farmers, black techs, black healing, black brilliance. And no, it doesn't mean I hate white people. No, it means I finally love us enough to stop begging for scraps from a table we built but never welcome to.
Mhm.
See, the Bible told us about this. Yet we hop, skip, and jump over the fact that Deuteronomy 28, 43, and 44 already said it. It says, the stranger shall rise above you high, and you shall come down low. They shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to them. And this is exactly what has been happening for 400 years plus years. We built houses, businesses, schools, and they took them and taxed them to death. But beloved, there's hope, because Deuteronomy 30 and 3 also says, and Yah will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all nations. So yes, I welcome segregation because restoration is already in motion. And I want y'all to understand this. We are not asking for more. We're building. See, we were never given anything from you all. I'm not asking to sit at somebody's table anymore. See, I'm trying to go along with scripture and build my people, gather my people, not because they are more melanated, but because we need to know that we serve the Most High and that He's going to take care of us, because separation was never our curse. It was our covenant. And now it's our strategy. It says to come out from among them, be ye separated. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. So this isn't about racism. It's about us reclaiming what is already ours.
Man, that's not deep. I don't know what it is. Do you
She's
have any
she's
thoughts on
on
it?
she's on point. She's on point. And I think Abraham Traore needs to learn and take from that example, because he might be helping Burkina Bees and ultimately African people, but
Right.
he is still working with the fucking Russians and Chinese, who don't have African people's best interests but their own. I'm talking about the
Right.
Russians and the Chinese. They're only in Africa for their own interest. So while
Hmm.
Abraham Traore is pushing back against the West, he also needs to push back against Russia and China.
Yeah,
Because,
I
the
agree.
Russians and the Chinese are also in Africa right now, abusing and taking advantage of African people in their own homeland, creating Chinese restaurants, but not allowing African people into their restaurants, only the Chinese that are living in Africa. Like, what the fuck? African people can no longer afford to sit well with this. They also need to do away with those nations,
Yeah,
because a few of Black America is waking up,
hmm
and Africa, all of Africa also needs to start doing the same, because I've been in a lot of their circles on YouTube, and a lot of them still believe that the Russians and Chinese are their friends, and that I'm echoing Western propaganda by saying that they are bad when they really are bad.
right, right.
And here's
Well, I,
another question I have to Black Americans choosing segregation.
mhm.
I wholeheartedly agree that it's good for Black Americans. I think segregation should come into fruition so that Black people can be independent and succeed off of their own independence and separation. But by Trump enforcing segregation again, does that mean that he intends to completely leave Black Americans alone? I don't think so. Because when
Yeah,
you look at the history of these whites, they've never ever left, even when y'all were separate back in the day, as the lady pointed out, they still kept coming after y'all's businesses, towns, and establishments, burning it all down, like, as she mentioned, Rosewood and the more infamous Black Wall Street. So I think that when the time comes that Black Americans become separate in America, I think they need to, create their own military structures
yes.
so that they can be able to protect their own efficiently, just in case mobs of crackers come after y'all.
No,
And I rest my mic.
no, I agree wholeheartedly. But what concerning about China is the way in which they're building bridges and skyways and highways or whatever with fake material. The steel that they use is not even real steel. So I'm concerned about that, and as far as the infrastructure that China is using, and even in some YouTube videos, you can see skyscrapers building 30 stories high coming down, falling down
I'm
because
hearing that. I'm
yeah, the
hearing even
material.
the food they import is fake. It's made of
Yes,
plastic.
yes,
Like
yes.
their Dutch fucking chinks are giving plastic rice to African children, and they're dying from it. Well,
Right.
not dying per se, but they're
No,
later on
they're
in life
dying.
when they grow up,
No, I
they
see that
develop
they're dying.
infertility issues.
Yeah, no, they're dying and having fertility issues too because
Yeah,
their
yeah.
bodies are not right and other things are not right, or other things are not what they claim to be. You're right. But I pray that Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and all of the countries that are going to be coming into the AES, these Sahel states, can produce, and they are producing their own food. We don't need fucking China for shit. What do we need them for? And
Absolutely
they,
nothing. Because there's nothing good they can bring to the table but destruction, just like the cracker.
right, too much trust, to be honest with you.
And they're also causing too much environmental harm too in Africa. That's why, we're now faced with this issue of, animals, becoming endangered. A lot of the animals that are endangered right now are from Africa, like the lions, gorillas, elephants, and rhinos. Because
Right,
those Chinamen are killing them off for their horns and ivory.
right,
Because they have a
yeah,
fucked up belief system that their horn and ivories are of great medical
healing,
value, and
yeah,
then they're cutting down all their destroying all these ecosystems in Africa, like the savannas and stuff, and it's causing a lot of these animals to become displaced. So now that's why we're faced with the issue right now of the Earth entering a sixth mass extinction event
right.
because of the huge environmental harm the Chinese are doing globally.
No, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean that is true. But I hope that Traore and other leaders are seeing this. I
Yeah.
have, I have a hunch that they are aware of it. But we'll see what happens. I'm gonna keep that open for right now. So let's go on to the next video. Let's see where we at. Oh, this is not
Hmm.
long, only 16 seconds. So let's watch it. Yes, and I don't mind calling them out, but Traore and Burkina Faso. Perroquet sauvage. Nah, that was kind
He should be the one taken out, not Ibrahim Traore.
of right. Yeah, that's an idiot. But
Oh,
you gotta
dude,
follow,
speaking of
order.
idiots, yeah, speaking of idiots, shit, while we're at it right now, there's a YouTuber named Lady Boule who says, and she's
Yeah,
an
I
elderly
heard,
black woman. She said
yeah.
that. She said that fucking Michael Langley's doing a good job. What good job is he doing?
Now I'm gonna show that video with Lady Boule.
Yeah, she made like two videos honoring and praising Michael Langley. Like, what the fuck? And I
Right,
see a lot of people in the comment section calling her out for it. But
right.
I'll be right back. You can what you're about to play next?
This one's only a minute
I
long, so
I just I just I just gotta use the restroom real quick. It
oh,
won't be
okay,
too long. Yeah, cause
okay,
I've been stressed out and just keeping myself hydrated the whole day.
right.
I'll be
Oh,
right
okay,
back.
okay. So while we're waiting on him, I just want to give my comment about what's going on with the world. To be honest with you, there are a lot of so-called people across the globe, uh, or the flat Earth, if you're a flat earther, who are in support of Traore, and it's just amazing the turnout that is coming on, that is being turned out for this man. He's very much loved, and he will be the president of the Sahel states and all of Africa. And once Africa is united and given its introduction of its own currency with all of the resources in the ground and above the ground that uh, Burkina Faso has, or Burkina Faso has, it's over. And the mighty words of Gaddafi's prediction about a united Africa is coming true. You cannot stop what's in the heart, soul, and mind of the people. You just cannot, and that will never happen. So I truly believe that Africa will rise and will take over the globe because we've been running it since like forever. So it ain't like we're just trying to run something. The black man has been running this world correctly, justly, honestly, thoroughly, and with integrity and character. And that's something the white man would never, or the white women or woman too would never have. They have no sense of integrity. So let's go on down and listen to this one, brother email, and I'll be right back.
The kind of leadership we've been craving for the past years. This is the kind of leadership that we've been crying for. We didn't know it. Since my 20s, I've been a Pan Africanist, and now 55. For more than 30 years, I've been rooting for a like this. Traore is what all of us here are waiting for. Ibrahim Traore is the future. He is what Africa needs. We've been waiting for it. We need it, and we'll protect it. So how far will you go if maybe someone wants to? We'll go to Burkina Faso and join the army. We'll go and sleep at the roundabout like the people protecting. We'll go and stand outside his palace and fight for him. Nobody is ready to come to your country. Send somebody. We're ready to come.
And then let's read this one because this one is not a video, but it's got some very moving words to it. It said this week alone, over 2,000 people slept outside the president's residence. This is Traore's residence, guarding every corner. Some brought food and water for those who had spent hours outside. Tonight, there's a planned night vigil in the capital city of Burkina Faso. Tomorrow, there will be protests in most parts of Africa in support of the Sahel region, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And Emmanuel Macron colonizer messed with the wrong one this time. Any thoughts about those two things?
Oh yeah, I was actually very much aware of the people who are guarding Abraham Traore's residence, and I didn't. But I was shocked to learn right now that it's around 2,000 people. I didn't know it was that many.
Okay.
And it just comes to show you that African people are waking up. But here's where I would be vigilant with 2,000 people guarding his residence. There's no doubt that among the sheep there's a wolf disguised in sheep's clothing amongst the sheep.
Hmm.
So they better be careful that there's no wolf amongst those sheep that is secretly plotting to assassinate Abram Traore, because this man survived far too many assassination attempts. I don't know how I don't know how one can survive almost 20 assassination attempts. Yeah,
By the grace of God and being prepared, because I am certain his security staff is not only equal to the Secret Service, but might be better. Who knows?
yeah,
Because
but yes,
yeah, if they can't get to him, if they can get to Trump one time, damn near, and shot him in the air supposedly, they can't even land a bullet on this guy. So that says a lot. That says a lot. And they're being very careful about where he goes and who's with him. So I pray nothing will ever happen to him and that he live a long life. But we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes.
because
Uh,
Malcolm X died too young. He died
yeah,
too young. A lot of people say he was still a baby.
yeah,
We can't. Africa cannot afford to lose Traore.
yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
because one will rise after another, but for how long?
yeah, yeah.
How much more longer is it gonna be before another Traore rises if they get their hands on this man?
It's not. If they kill that man, Traore, it's gonna be more unification than with him now. I mean, they will be a definite unification bell ringing through the heart and soul mind of every African on the African continent. Oh no, we're not accepting this. If you bring your funky asses over here, the military of the United States, and put your foot on our land, you're going to get killed right then and there before you even get off the goddamn helicopter. That's it. There's no more playing. There's no more smiling in your face and welcoming you to my palace or whatever the presidential uh, palace or whatever the case may be. You want this fight? Let's go. We got bullets for you. That's no problem. Let's go. Let's go. All right, and that's how it's going to be. But when people have fear of you, that you are not there playing, that you are not trying to go along to get along anymore, it changes the whole narrative. Because this is what white folks actually believe, that, niggas ain't going to do shit. They're just going to go along to get along. But that shit is over. It had always been over. It was just a matter of recognizing the game that's being played. And white folks, white men, white women are scaredy cats, man. They're not as strong as they look to be. And that's the purpose of the subtitle of my book, of lies and deceit. White folks are delusional, brother Emil. They're living a life of lies and deceit. They're not white. They're not Caucasian. They're not Aryan. They're not Anglo-Saxon. They're not this, that, and the other. They're a bunch of bitch ass niggas.
So are the Asians.
Hey,
I'm
look.
Asian, but I call out my own a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, like what you got to call them out. Okay, the word on the street is, and why would you put the word out there in the first motherfucking place?
Hmm.
There's nothing better than a surprise. Surprise, motherfucker! I'm right here, right next to you. Let's go. But why would you even prompt that into reality on the news station around the globe? Now everybody else knows that America's coming, so they can get prepared. And once they step their motherfucking asses off that goddamn boat, that's it. There's no more plan, man. Macron's not gonna bring his funky ass up in there. They're gonna kill him. Just that goddamn simple. You going, gay ass motherfucker? We know you're gay. You've been fucked in your ass by your wannabe wife. That's not a woman. That's a real man that turned you out when you were a king, when you were a kid, 13, 14, 15, 18 years old. Fuck that motherfucker. I even wrote a letter on X to uh, Macron telling him leave uh, Burkina Faso alone because you're not gonna win a war with them.
Were there
Just
people
like
trolling you when
no,
you wrote the letter to him? Were there people trolling
I'm pretty
you?
sure. I'm not the only one writing to. I'm pretty sure. But the idea is that France lost to Haiti. Haiti didn't have any, modern weapons and a million men.
It's
Yeah, the
it's impoverished. Haiti's
no,
unfortunately impoverished.
yeah, yeah. But the idea is that it was so one sided with France and Haiti that you would think that France would win against Haiti, but they
Yeah,
lost. They lost. The reason why is because Haiti was not playing. They were serious about their liberation. When you become serious, Emil, the game is up. The will of the people, of the person, is too strong for a weak-minded motherfucker who's just trying to manipulate them to do anything. Because now they got more fear in them when they're trying to conquer the man with the will to win more so than them, that they're gonna fold. That you can have any kind of weapon, and that weapon will not be successful against that man or against that country or against those people. So now, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It
yeah.
has, it's not gonna work anymore. The media wars are calling you incapable of supporting yourself and doing this and doing that. Africa, you need the white man to help you. Hey, man, that's about the wicked bullshit, and everybody was laughing about that shit. So, like I always say, fuck all white folk.
Yeah, fuck
Cause
all of them.
huh?
Fuck all of them.
Yeah, fuck all of them. I don't give a damn how good they are. They ain't that goddamn good. Because if they were good, they get rid of all the bad ones. So fuck them all. So let's go on to the next one or the next couple of. Oh shit, this is only like 5 seconds, but it's talking about the goal.
Let me give you a good example first.
Oh, okay, hold on. Well, it's only 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
Go
Yeah, that's
ahead.
a lot of gold. Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, he ain't shit. He's white, but he ain't shit. What has he done? What has he done for the people, other than using his so-called good looks to make capital off of entertaining people and making
Right,
money off of entertaining people? Nothing. Which you have had a bunch of revolutionary black men throughout history that was trying to do something for the people.
right.
So yeah,
No,
white folks ain't shit. Even the ones that have the looks, they ain't shit. Chris
I.
Hemsworth ain't shit. Who's the name of the actor that played Iron Man? None of those fuckers are shit.
You talking about
All they just do is make money. They're not building.
no, no. They're not. They're not. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. They're not doing anything worth the while for the sake and greater good of humanity.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
entertainment is just as I've come to realize, it's just nothing but a form of distraction.
Right.
That's why now I pay attention to the stuff that's going on around Africa, and I don't like, you know,
¿Cuándo la llamo?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't pay attention to what kind of what new movies are coming up this year or the next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pay attention to or invest in entertainment no more. I focus on the real stuff that's happening
Right, 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 right.
because that an opened eye can save a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Of
An open eye and an open mind can save a lot of people.
course, of course. Because as a people, we have the habit of repeating and redoing shit.
Well, we are dumbed down as well through entertainment, music, yeah,
I
and even through lifestyle like drinking and partying.
Yeah, we've come a long way, man.
I'm called boring for not indulging in those kind of activities, but it is what it is.
I mean, yeah,
Because
yeah,
I know deep down inside that I'm not gonna be destroyed, but the people that keep partaking in those indulgences are going to be destroyed eventually. Because they don't have a clue what's going on.
I was about to say that they don't have a clue as to
No, they don't.
what really going on.
And the more you realize and awaken consciously, you will realize that this world is just, filled with too much wicked people, and there's just not enough of us who are in this truth and form of consciousness, and it feels as if we're alone in the spiritual awakening.
Right, right, and that comes through a lot of dedicated work, internal work and external work. And you gotta be connected with both. You gotta do that work because if you don't do that work, and you're not gonna be who you are supposed to be and growing constantly. You just don't stand still. Just like water, if you put water in a bucket and just leave it outside, it's not moving. It'll go bad on you at some point. And you gotta water has to flow in order to keep it crisp, keep it fresh, and keep it moving. Because if it stops, then it'll go bad on itself. You can't afford that. So
Hmm.
be like water. Be like Bruce Lee would say, be like water. You don't stop.
Still waters run deep.
Yeah, and carve. It'll keep crashing against rock until that rock starts to give way. It never ceases. And I think Traore sees that the wave of the people is going to crash all up upon the rock or in sandy beaches of France like it has never been done before.
Not
And
just
that,
France, but all of Europe.
yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. But
Because
I'm just saying,
the fucking Germans are still in Namibia. The fucking Portuguese are still in Angola, Mozambique, Sao Tome Principe, and what's Guinea Bissau. All those motherfuckers are still down there in Africa. It's not just the French.
right, but as far as Angola and Portugal, Angola now rules over Portugal, economically speaking. That cannot be changed. They might be mad, but like I always said and had said earlier, money talks and bullshit walks. They got this shit together. They got control of the economy, the Angolan people, and now they money talk. When they go to Portugal, Portugal can't do nothing without them saying so. They own the banks. You know what I mean? And the whole economic infrastructure of Portugal. So
Hmm.
let's continue on. And now this one is just a picture. It says President Chad Mohammed Deby, the president of Chad. I'm sorry, Mohammed Deby has ordered all French troops out of the country.
All of them are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the ECOWAS, those fucking idiots are still being and wanting to be tied to their colonial masters. I don't like saying that, but let's keep it real. And let's get on out of here. Esta Camargo, esta semana el Banco Central, okay, every day, hold on, publicó sus estados financieros de 2024 como parte de la rendición. Parte de la rendición de cuentas estatutaria del BCRD. Estos estados difíciles de leer y de comprender me provocan preguntas importantes. I'm going to have to read this uh, later, but it's basically saying that they're backing the start of the central bank here, uh, and finding it quite interesting or provoking questions about that. But I haven't read the thread here, so I really don't. I didn't see this earlier, so I really want to try to uh, find out what the hell is going on. Why my country is involved in this bullshit. But I'm going to read that later and let you know what happened. So let's get out of here. And now it says, President Macron said, it's not the time for France to leave Africa. That Africa is not capable of managing it on its own.
Fuck
Can you
out of
believe it?
here.
Yeah, that's what Macron is saying. Macron, if we leave African countries to manage on their own, now is not the time. Africa remains the least developed continent, and history shows we have a role to play in supporting this growth. A complete withdrawal could halt progress. There is still much work for us to do in Africa, and we believe that they are not fully ready to thrive without our involvement. Man, fuck
These
you.
motherfuckers, these crackers really think melanated people are dumb, and
Yeah,
it just gets on my fucking nerves. But you know, the more you get emotional and become outraged with this, you're just giving them satisfaction. And you know, at the end of the day, these crackers are really and truly not worth anyone's time.
no, of course not,
You
and
still
they
have to
know
keep,
that.
you still have to keep pushing back against them. But nothing they say should matter because they ain't, as you said several times, they ain't shit and fuck all white folks.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. They're just blowing smoke up everybody's ass, and they think that people believe in what this idiot Macron is saying. It's not true. And here we got another one. They Sahel Revolutionary Soldiers breaking news. Malian president speak out about his experience fighting alongside French imperialist troops. Mali Rising. General Assimi Goita speaks out. I fought side by side with the French. Like, this is important. I fought side by side with the French army, patrolled with them, listened to their radio, and what I saw broke my heart. When danger came, we Malians were sent to the front. If there was no threat, they called it RAS, nothing to report. But when we were attacked, they shrugged it off. This is war, they said. Hundreds of our soldiers died, while French soldiers remained untouched. While French soldiers remained untouched. The people who getting their fucking bullets were the Malians. I'll never forget the day near Kidal. We could almost taste victory, but then order came: do not enter Kidal. Some of us tried to move forward. They threatened to shoot us in the head that day. I cried like a child. Later, I watched with my own eyes the French handing fuel and pickup trucks to the rebels. They smiled at us as if mocking our suffering. When we spoke up, they betrayed us, even setting us up to be arrested by the rebels. On their radio, they celebrated mission accomplished. Despite everything, I never gave up. They tried to break us, but instead they made us stronger. I trained harder, studied the battlefield, and learned the truth. Mali's future is in our hands, not in theirs. I know the North like the back of my hand. I know who the real enemy is or are, and I swear with my brothers in arms we will liberate Mali. We are not politicians. We are not puppets. We are liberators. Mali is a rich land full of promise, and together we will make it shine. So you can see, white folks don't know how to fight. They're always putting niggas up in the front. And we know this. As soon as we know this, as soon as we know that we have all the spades in our hands, it's over. This motherfucker wannabe has all of the caucasity to say that because nobody putting his feet to the fire. He's not being tested. He's a gay ass motherfucker. Got fucked in his ass.
I can tell
Literally.
he's a punk ass.
Yeah, yeah.
I can just tell he looks like someone that
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say anymore.
nah,
But
yeah. No,
you get the idea. He looks like a fucking faggot.
yeah. He's a bitch ass nigga. That's
Yeah,
man. Come on, man. But we know in what direction this is gonna go. They're gonna just like they lost to Haiti. They're gonna lose here as well. Now here's another one. I imagine, and this is the evaluator. I don't know what. Obviously, a guy from Africa. I hope with the flag. I think that's the Burkina flag.
yeah.
I am.
That's the flag of Burkina Faso.
Oh, okay. I, oh, no, no, it says, imagine thinking you can bring down the most supported, loved leader in Africa and expecting people not to revolt. You're playing a very dangerous game, Macron and Langley. This is not 1902. This is a different era. You touch Traore, you touch Africa, and it's gonna
Well,
be hell.
I hope it's just not all talk. I hope that if if they end up taking him out, I really hope that it's not all just talk. I hope that they really kill these motherfuckers
Yeah,
if they take out Traore. I hope it's just not talk. Because
mm,
things are easy. As the saying goes, things are easier said than done. So I hope
mhm.
that they will really retaliate. I
Yeah,
hope so. I really hope so.
yeah. There's no other choice. No. I'm quite certain they're not going to say, "Well, okay, France, we'll come back to you as a colonial favorite and give you our
No.
gold." That's not going to happen. That's not happening. And what I just heard today, or or I saw on the video, is that they forsake the French franc, started their own currency, and backing it with gold, and everybody in Burkina Faso and other African nations, especially these Sahel states, adopted the gold coin as its foundational money in Burkina Faso. So it's over, and that's what they are fearing. They're hoping that they can plant these seeds of negativity in the mind, heart, and soul of Traore and other people. But that's over with. Everybody's laughing at this motherfucker, and they know that France is depending on Africa, not the other way around. So let's get to the other one. This is the one that you were talking about, I think, with Lady Boulay.
Yeah, but she made no notice she says I stand by what I said. So
Yeah.
indicating she made a video before that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
Yeah,
listen to this one. Let's listen
yeah.
to this one and let's see what she's talking about. I heard it, but I don't remember it all of it. Hold on.
Hello, this is Ade and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the video. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And I came back to say that I stand by what I said about General Michael Langley. I stand by what I said. You don't have to agree with me, and I don't have to agree with you. I don't need to do any more research to say what I said in my last video or what I'm going to say in this video. All the research in the world is not going to make me run with a crowd. I stand by what I said. I started off by saying I want President Traore to win.
This breakthrough DIY method generates nearly free electricity for life. No noisy generators, no.
I want him to win. I want the
Yeah,
people
right.
of Burkina Faso to win. I am a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade. Unlike a lot of Black Americans now who are running around calling themselves Indians or natives or whatever, I'm not that. I am a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade of Africa. Many of us came out of the old Malian Empire. Burkina Faso was a part of the old Malian Empire. So my family members as well have come out of that empire. So I am not rooting against those people. I'm for those people. I'm for their independence and I'm for them being able to benefit from their resources and thrive. But I am not going to throw a Black American general under the bus because everybody has an opinion because of something he said before a Senate hearing. He was speaking to the United States government. The United States has been in Africa for ages, getting resources. In this particular instance, it seems that President Traore is giving America a hard time. So yes, he's gonna talk shit about him. That's what they do. That doesn't mean that he's gonna put a hit out on him. If anybody puts a hit out on him, it's gonna be France. And if anybody carries it out, it's gonna be one of his own soldiers. I stand by that too. Because that's who's been doing it. All those 20 assassination attempts that's been done on his life and all of those coups that they've tried to pull off have been done by his own people. I stand by what I said. And if something like that were to happen, the next excuse would be, oh yeah, the United States pushed them up to it. Oh yeah, France pushed them up to it. No, they didn't. Greed pushed them up to it. Selfishness pushed them up to it. Tribalism pushed them up to it. You give them a few $100,000, maybe $1 million now, a villa in France and a white woman and a little bit of status, and Traore is gone. They've been pulling that shit off all along before General Langley got there. So y'all can miss me with all this BS. And I didn't need to do any more research to form this opinion. You do your research. And if Traore is using the resources of Burkina Faso to keep himself and his family safe, that shows he's a very smart man because he knows what he's up against better than anybody. And as somebody pointed out in the comment section of that last video, if America is so bad, why do so many of them want to get over here? And time they get over here, they turn on us. Many of them do. If France is so bad, why are all of them trying to get over there? The hypocrisy is what gets me. When immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean come to the United States with their anti-Black American sentiment and you question them about it, they quickly say that America has marketed Black Americans' negativity to them, that we're all drug addicts and single moms and stuff like that. But then when you look deeper, you know that that is not true. Because The Fresh Prince of Bel Air was one of the top rated shows in America. That show was not about drug addicts or single moms. The Cosby Show was the top rated show. It was not about drug addicts and single moms. Roots was a worldwide phenomenon television series. It was about the transatlantic slave trade and what was done to Black Americans. It was not about drug addicts and single moms. Our athletes have been going to the Olympics and winning since the late 1800s, and I emphasize winning. Black Americans are known for excellence in music in many genres. Black Americans are probably the least supportive, or some of the least supportive of the American military industrial complex. And yet, Black American soldiers perform with excellence on the battlefield and off. Our educators and revolutionaries are known and respected around the world, not to mention inventions that have advanced global progress. So we are known for more things than drug dealing and being single moms, but yet and still, that's all the Africans and the Caribbeans know about us. Let them tell it. So you know you're dealing with liars. So what does this have to do with General Michael Langley? On the surface, maybe nothing. But when you go deeper, it goes to the fact that all of these people jumping on the internet talking about General Langley are anti-black Caribbeans and Africans. I saw a post from a Jamaican that 3 million Jamaicans stand with Africa. Now, stand with Africa against General Langley, because there's a lot going on in Africa. And I say to the Jamaicans, what about what's going on in Jamaica? You can't access even 1% of your beachfront, of your beaches, but you're going to stand with Africa? How about you stand with Jamaica and work on what's going on down there? Because it sounds like they need some help down there too. So maybe you need to stand with your own countrymen. And as far as General Michael Langley is concerned, you don't know any more about what's going on over there than I do. All anybody knows is what's being reported in the media. And they took a few statements that General Langley made before Congress and ran with it. So again, that's not enough to condemn a person. And Africa has been destroying their own leaders for centuries and selling out their own people for centuries. So that's not the hill I want to die on. And another thing that confuses me about Africans, they don't like black Americans, but they were dancing in the streets when Donald Trump was elected president. Now, I know that's not all of the Africans, but enough of them were doing it to make you think, what in the world are they thinking? They were dancing in the streets and celebrating because Trump was elected. So what comes through is that they love America and white America, but they don't love black Americans. I still think they would be perfectly fine if Michael Langley was white. Y'all hate black Americans, but you love white Americans, and then you claim Americans doing all this stuff to your country. Black Americans are not giving anybody any orders to do anything in Africa. That is coming from the top of the American government. But anytime it can be a black or blackish person, you know that name and you are happily throwing those names around. You people come across as hypocrites to me. You really do. Now, here is the greatest irony of all the comments that came under that video that I posted yesterday. Some of the best comments, and when I say best, I mean some of the most measured and the ones that provided the most information in an objective way, I thought, came from Africans. There were not a lot, but there were enough to let me know that I'm not out there in left field like everybody's trying to make me think. So I took those comments to heart. And I'm going to end with this. For all this talk about I stand with Traore and I stand with Traore, especially those Africans that are living in the West, if you stand with them, then why don't you get back over there and stay and help keep them safe? And I also make another projection. All those Africans over there talking about free Africa, Africa rising, Africa this and Africa that. If they had a chance to get out from over there, they would, because that's what they tell people, and it's not people lying on them. When people ask them if they would like to go to the West, overwhelmingly they say yes. So you have to take everything these people are saying with a grain of salt. I believe that there are some Africans who are committed to building that continent, but I don't believe it's a lot of them. Now, prove me wrong. And as for black Americans who are standing so strongly against General Langley, good for you. I guess you know what you're talking about, but I don't believe you know any more about this than I do. Okay, y'all. Thank you for listening. And also, if you disagree with me, go right ahead and disagree with me. As long as you keep it respectful, I'm good. But if you come on here talking shit about me, I'm removing you from my channel. And you already know that before you comment. So let's just be clear about that. You're talking about what you think, and I'm talking about what I think. And I guarantee you, I've been studying different parts of Africa and what's going on in that same area of Africa more than you have, more than the average person has. So I don't know everything that's going on over there. You don't either. So you talk what you think, and I'll talk what I think. And last but not least, General Langley is over there to build partnerships with African nations. And I would like for him to be able to do that. And at the end of the day, Africa is dealing with some heavy handed
Whew.
colonizers, the United States, Europe, including Russia and China. And one is not better than the other. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and have a great day.
Yeah, she said a lot, man. I see what you're saying. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I agree with the very last part she said when, she acknowledged that Russia and China are also colonizers and one is not better than the other. Everything else, she's just making really, really, really dumb excuses about Africans calling out Michael Langley because they're anti-Black American. That's not true because I've came across many Black American content creators on YouTube who are also calling this demon out.
Right, right.
So there's the stuff she's saying that videos all bullshit and bullshit excuses. And when I used to follow her, I thought that she's for melanated people, but it turns out she's not. And I was very shocked when I watched these videos of her. I was very shocked,
Yeah.
and she kept using Michael Langley as as a symbol of black excellence in the military. But out of all the black soldiers that have served in the U.S. military for hundreds of years, she used Michael Langley as an example. How about black soldiers like Carl Brashear, who helped
Okay.
America overtake the Japanese after the bombing of Pearl Harbor? I
Right.
think he
Yeah.
was the one who ultimately, brought America to victory during their war with Japan during World War II,
Hmm.
and he
But
won a Medal of Honor for that. So why didn't Lady Boulay use him as an example of black excellence in the military?
hmm. Well, there's an interesting twist to World War II and how America got into it. America got into it uh, in a very abrupt, fake, uh, based on lies and deceit by uh, President
Roosevelt.
Delano. Yeah, yeah, Roosevelt. He
Is it
lied.
Franklin Roosevelt or Theodore Roosevelt? Because there's two of them fuckers.
No, no, yeah, there's Theodore Roosevelt, and then there's Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR is what we're talking about. But that motherfucker is the one who pulled back the fleet that was a lot closer to Japan that would have alerted America to any incursion or possible attack by Japan. And when
I
he
didn't know
did that,
that. Shoot,
yeah, when he did that, that's treason. And in my opinion, he should be brought up on treason after death and nullified as a president. Whatever they do.
I
But
have to research on that because that's mind blowing, and it just comes to show you. It just comes to show you time and time again, every yet that I've learned a lot more from YouTube than this miseducation system. They didn't
yeah,
teach us that. They didn't teach us that when we learned about World War II.
yeah, yeah. A lot of people
It's
don't
not.
know.
It's not. It's not. It's not funny anymore.
No, no. I mean, you got to really, if you really want to understand the truth, then go for it, man. Don't allow nobody to tell you, well, that didn't happen like that. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the president. He would never commit treason. Well, he did. Yeah. He should be. What do they call it? Take when you take the president away.
Impeached.
Huh?
Impeached.
Impeach, right, right, impeach. He should be impeached posthumously. 'Cause that's the motherfucker who got America. We weren't involved in that bullshit. But due to the fact that Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, how in the fuck did they go from Japan to Pearl Harbor? That's a lot of miles. And the reason being is that President Roosevelt, FDR, pulled back the fleet that would have alerted America to the possible bombing. Yeah, yeah, a lot of people don't know about that.
No, I didn't know. I learned something new today.
Oh,
I
okay,
learned
that's
something
cool.
new every day.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
cool.
they don't teach this. They don't teach this in the Crackers miseducation system. They
Yeah,
teach nothing but lies about how brilliant they are. No,
right.
they've shown you time and time, and when you peel the layers of the onion and do your own research, you'll find for yourself time and time again they really and truly ain't shit. And
Hmm.
well, go white folks.
Yeah, but you got to think about these people stole our crown, title, land, money, position later on, and after the 1885, all you see is white people in those positions of being king, queen. But before then, it was black people. But due to the constant advertising, if I want to say advertising, the constant
Propaganda.
yeah, that's a better word, propaganda, and making white people look like they are the true royal of Europe throughout Europe. That's a lie. And they came in after the Black Holy Roman Empire was pushed out into France, and this is where we get all of these wars: the French Revolution, the 10 Years' War, 30 Years' War, 100 Years' War. These were all wars against these children of ours to try to get them back under our foot. And it just didn't pan out. Well, we fought to hell and high water to get our black supremacy back and our black superiority. And that's not a joke. Um, Damn, the lady's name just came into my mind. Um, oh, uh, she wrote the book. Wow, damn it. Um, Very famous English woman author that everybody thinks was white. She was actually black. Um,
You're not talking about Sojourner Truth, are you?
no, 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 no. That was in America. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
uh,
Sorry.
if I told you the name of the book, which is well known and a well read English book that is famous in America and around the globe, you would say, okay. Uh, but she was very astute in putting the white people in their place and what the bourgeois class of black people and the royalty were trying to do. And hold on, let me see.
What's the
Uh,
title of the book?
I'm trying to remember the name of the book. Yeah, I'm gonna try to lady. Uh, Wait a minute. Famous author, lady of England during the time, time of what is it, King James? I'm gonna say King James. Let's see what come up. It might come up during the time of King James. Or was it George? Hold on. Uh, Jane Austen. Jane Austen. Yeah, that's her name, Jane Austen.
Okay,
Hold on.
that name now sounds familiar. I
Hold on.
I I, I thought I've heard that name before somewhere.
Yeah, she wrote the book. Books. Jane Goodwin Austen. Uh, hold on. See, they got her when you Google it. They got her down as a white woman, but she was black. Um, not naming all of the books that she wrote. Boy, but famous. Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Mansfield Park, and other books. But Pride and Prejudice, that's all of her books were excellent, but that's the one that people talk about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that book now. I read that book when I took American
But
history in community college.
yeah, but I know you know that uh, the Man in the Iron Mask. Uh, oh, what's the name of that? The author of that book. Uh, I loved his movie that was based on one of his books. Uh, oh shit. Hold on. Let me see. We're almost done anyway. Man in the Iron Mask. Now that's the one where the white boy was in it that you were talking about. Uh, Man in the Iron Mask. Who wrote Man in the Iron? I know it was a French guy. Man in the Iron Mask. Louisville 14. That's one that was done. Now the Man in the Iron Mask. Wow. Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what that he was in that movie. Uh, no, it's a French author. French author. I don't know what's going on in my brain. I can't remember. Hold on. Sorry about that.
So you're fine.
Yeah.
Is that local Jamaican music?
No, that's yeah. It sounded like it was English
It,
or something.
it sounds
I
like
wasn't.
Latin pop.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that. So, Man and I, Alexander Dumas. I know you know he was black, right?
Alexander Dumas.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but let's go on and try to finish this up. We only got one more. Hold on. Yeah. So we only got this one. This is 3 minutes long. We'll be right back and we'll close it out.
Okay.
Using the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today. Welcome to Africa Diaspora News Channel. My name is Lillian Akotono making this report. It was reported that Russia and China troops were sent down to Burkina Faso to help fight against the jihadists and terrorists in Burkina Faso. This comes after Burkina Faso was attacked a few weeks ago. Northern town in Burkina Faso, Chibo, was attacked by the jihadists, and it did not stop there. They threatened to advance to Ouagadougou, that's the capital of Burkina Faso, in the nearest future. And in order to fight against this terrorist, troops have been sent down to empower Burkina Faso's military to fight against this terrorist. Now, prior to this time, France military troops were actually involved in fighting against the jihadists and terrorists. But despite them fighting against these jihadists and terrorists, it was discovered that the threat kept increasing, the war kept increasing, lives were continually being lost. And we know why. France does not have the interest of Burkina Faso at heart. Guess what? They were there, but they were actually propelling war. They were actually in favor of the war against Burkina Faso in order to silently, behind the Burkina Faso government, lay their hands on the resources of Burkina Faso. But ever since Captain Ibrahim Traore took over, he strengthened ties with the Russia and China government. Russia has been instrumental in supplying equipment, I mean, military equipment, guns, war equipment to Burkina Faso military. And that's not all. They also supplied military troops to Burkina Faso to help fight against these terrorists. A very good one, I must say. I'm happy that they are interested in the good of Burkina Faso. President Vladimir Putin came out to challenge the Westerners. He said that anyone who harms or comes after Captain Ibrahim Traore, as reported, is also going after him and his troops. So we have Russia and China troops currently in Burkina Faso to help fight against terrorists and threats, especially in a time like this when everyone is on their toe, when the tension is heightened. I love, love, love it. And it was reported that these guys, that the terrorists, said that they have to June to eliminate Captain Ibrahim Traore, and that is why we have the Russia and China troops down in Burkina Faso to strengthen the military of Burkina Faso and keep everything in check, especially make sure that Captain Ibrahim Traore is safe. What do you have to say about the story? Comment below and do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. GoDaddy te lo pone fácil con herramientas intuitivas y prácticas. Y ahora con GoDaddy Airo puedes...
Yeah, okay, so now we're done.
No,
So,
Russia and China are not his friends. And
so what,
the Chinese are very evil, vile, and racist by nature. I wouldn't be surprised if
one
they're
of
the
them
ones. They're the ones who might. I don't doubt that they might be the ones end up killing him just so they can be able to have control over Africa even more. I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised.
Well, nobody's out of the picture, that's for sure. Not the Russians, not the Americans, not the Chinese. Everybody is a potential enemy, but you got to play the political game, and that's one of the things that I love about Machiavelli. I'm not a religious person, you know what I mean? I'm a Jew, right? But I don't look to be buddy buddy everybody that look like me. Not everybody that look like me is your brother. You more my brother than a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because I can feel where you're coming from, man. There's no fakeness within your word. Feel me? So not everybody that look like you is you, and I'm heartfeltly uh, uh, convinced about that because that's how my parents raised me. They told me not every brother is a brother, and you got to be aware of that. You got to know that. You got to accept it and move on. And when it's time to move on, that just means that person that will come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And those who are in your life for a lifetime really want to be there. Not that you want them to be, but they want to be and add to your table, not taking nothing off. You feel me?
Mhm.
So that's very important. And I really appreciate you coming on. I think we had a good time. It's only 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, normally, if it was something really, if this is deep, I'm not trying to water it down. But no, normally I run it like 3.5, 4 hours. You know what I mean? But I'm getting kind of tired. I want to go to bed. But you got any final word?
Nope. We you touched on pretty much everything. Yeah, you needed to touch on.
Okay. Cool, man.
There was only like 2 to 3 people. Well, now one individual who's watching the live stream.
Oh yeah.
How many likes is the live stream getting? Can you see it?
No,
'Cause
what you say?
I don't fuck with people that are just in the background watching but are not liking. Because I was on another live stream where there were people having a problem with that because the people that tend to operate like that are agents.
Oh, okay. Well, I never had anybody to leave a comment, not unless it's Brother Willie, Brother Donald, or something like that. But I don't take it personal. I don't have a lot of followers. I think I got like maybe 80 followers, less than 100,
No,
and
you
not
should
all.
have more followers than that because you speak truth.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people prefer bullshit.
No, this is the sad
Yeah,
truth. This is the sad truth.
yeah. But you know what? Funny, Shannon Sharp and all that bullshit he into. People who talk about that and other bullshit, they got 100. They got one guy. One has 1 million subscribers and getting 140,000, 220,000 uh, views or some shit. Like, what kind of? Then what am I doing? Maybe I should be talking about dick and pussy.
No, 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 no. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Another thing I'm also not really paying too much attention to the Carmelo Anthony case.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
what if just another thing that was staged just to get black people and their emotions? Because the world notices that black people tend to get their emotions about certain things, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
black people getting shot and imprisoned,
Hmm.
wrongfully shot and imprisoned. So what if that's just another stage hoax just to cause even more distraction among within the black community?
Right, right.
I mean, I'm glad Carmelo Anthony got cleared up of his charges and walked out of jail free.
Hmm.
But
Well, he still got to go through his
you just
trial.
gotta
I think he's
you
going to get
gotta
away with
you said you don't think he got you said he's still
it.
on
No,
trial.
no, it hasn't gone to trial yet, has it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't been following up on the Carmelo Anthony case
Yeah,
because
that's the guy that killed his wife,
Ibrahim Traore is a even more bigger topic to worry about because this is a matter between melanated people worldwide becoming liberated or not becoming
right?
liberated.
There you go. Yeah.
And this slipped in my mind, and I want to say this before it does.
Okay.
I hope the Aboriginal black people of Australia. I hope, and I pray and wish that uh, someone like Ibrahim Traore will come up from amongst them because
Yeah.
it does not sit well with me that those
Hmm.
fucking crackers that are the predominant inhabitant of Australia right now are still there. They need to get their asses out of there, as well as in New Zealand.
No,
And all these other islands in the fucking Pacific they colonized. Those fucking crackers in Australia need to get their fucking asses out of there. And if they don't want to, all of them need to be killed. Unalive. Let me not use the K word because I'm hearing rumors that videos on YouTube be being taken down if you use the K word. So let me just use the
I,
word
I, I,
unalive.
I say it all the time. My shit has not been taken down for that reason.
Or just for safety precautions, let's just say the word unalive because I noticed
Right,
that trend going on
right.
within YouTube. But those fucking crackers that are in Australia right now need to be, removed from that fucking land because they took it wrongfully by committing genocide and chopping off, the penises of the Australian men and raping the children and causing so much pain and trauma. Do you know they would also chop off their heads and display the heads of the Aboriginal Australians as taxidermy?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I know.
That's just some evil, wicked shit I can't fathom. And they also did that. Those same fuckers also did the same thing with the Sand people.
Right. Yeah.
And
Well.
you and it actually weighs heavy on my heart because me as an Asian, I'm an actual descendant of the Sand people
Mhm.
of Southern Africa. That's where all Asians descend from.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that it actually weighs heavy on my heart where when I learned that the Sand people also experienced genocide and atrocity.
Yeah. Well, don't let it
They
get
were
to you.
they were very peaceful and pure people that didn't deserve all that.
But you know what? It all ends.
And I just hope that Europe becomes engulfed in flames. From the London Bridge to the Eiffel Tower to those castles in Germany to the Roman Colosseum, I hope all of Europe gets engulfed in flames for their transgressions the fucking Europeans have done.
Believe me, they're done. They already know they're done. It's just a matter of time before.
If you ask me, these low birth rates they're experiencing, as well as their economic collapse, I think the
Right.
Most High is being way too merciful on them. I think they need to be met with violence.
And they are being met with violence. You got to remember when Gaddafi said, "If you kill me, you'll be opening the door to all of hell for all of eternity." And look at what is
But
going
but
on.
but where is Libya right now? They haven't fought on behalf of Gaddafi's behalf. Libya is still a failed state up until now. What the
What is
fuck have
going on now?
Libyans done? They're still in the condition they're in now, and now they're
Yeah.
relying on Abraham Traore to liberate all of Africa ultimately.
But look at
That's
what.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If they
But
really
look.
want to come against the West, if they put their hands on Abraham Traore, I hope they're all about that life. Because
Right.
I'm sick and tired of talk and not action. I'm sick and tired.
No, I feel you. But look at what is going on throughout Europe and the Americas. The Islamic Brotherhood, they are not playing. The brown skinned people are all up in throughout Europe, and even the Prime Minister of Canada has converted to Islam. And the brown skinned Arabs, or whatever you want to call them, they're killing white folks left and right, man. They're beating the shit out of them,
Oh
and they're
yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. But uh they need to like. And I'm gonna be honest with you when it comes to the fucking Arabs, right? They have
right.
transgressions to pay for as well for their
Uh,
involvement in the enslavement of African people. They were actually those motherfuckers were the first ones to enslave Africans before the Europeans. So
right.
those fucking Arabs have a lot to pay for as well.
Of course, I agree. I agree.
And that's why I did the video that I did about, black people, you know, needing to have the need to detach from the NOI. Because it's still derivative from that same Islamic crap that, has that's an unoriginal, how do I say it? It's not an original African religion or culture.
Right.
It's a bastardized form of, that is plagiarized from ancient Kemetic culture, sold back to Africans in another different package, just like Christianity.
Yeah, I agree. I
It's
agree.
it's, it's nothing but bastardization.
Hmm. Well, I'm going to.
I don't have sympathy for the fucking Arabs either. I think they're wicked as well.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course.
also think I don't think they're for the liberation of humanity. I think they have some form of agenda and motive of their own. Because when
Hmm.
you look at and study their culture, they have a history of, doing child slavery and trafficking and
Hmm.
treating women as lesser beings. I don't fuck with that.
Right.
I
No,
don't
you're
fuck
right.
with that. And that's not a culture or a religion that I want to ultimately being of a huge influence all over the world. I think it's very destructive.
Hmm. Well, during
I
these
don't think the
times,
Arabs are any better. Their hands are not clean either, just like the fucking Chinks and the Ruskies. None of their fucking hands are clean.
Well, we are in a very, very deep, trying time. And this is part of my uh, final comment that in these times when there seems to be no way out, no way up, no way in, just stand still and be silent and allow the winds of change to do what it's going to do. There is no time like now. And what's the phrase? Uh, there is no power greater than the will of the people. Because the will of the people during those times of change has the will to bend a whole different reality. Because they dare to step away from what they thought was reality. But in the end, proved to be something that they will into existence. And when Traore and others have bent that old reality and stepped away from that old reality of the colonial mindset, which is a fake mindset, they know for a fact that if they just stand still and listen to the winds of their ancestors, to our ancestors, they will be given a way out. And that way out is summed up in one word: unity. It is so very important for our people across the globe to unify because that is what the people fear the most. It's not guns, it's not bullets, it's not whatever method that they think is going to win or what they create is going to win. For no weapon formed against us will win. It's the sheer nature of our will that channels and runs through every part of our bodies and our minds and our hearts and our soul. And that is the will of our ancestors. The will of our ancestors has always been there. But we have to calm down, settle down, quiet down, and listen to our ancestors' voices that have always been there, telling us and guiding us to the light of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And when you have the foundation of that, to be able to say, hold on, we civilized these motherfuckers 3 times. We taught
Mm-hmm.
them we taught them how to walk, how to talk, and do everything. How are we not seeing that we have all the spades in our hand? They only tricked us into believing that they had the spades in their hand, but it was always in ours. In other words, the power is from within, not out. And when we recognize that and accept it as a people, nationally and globally, the game is up. They white folks know that their time is up. They're not multiplying like they would normally do. They're not as powerful as they want to
Nope.
pretend and present
Mm-mm.
themselves to be. And so when we recognize that and we see where their weaknesses are, attack it. Because what they are doing, they're living off the fume of perception. And that perception is that white people and white skin, or whatever the case may be, is at the top of humanity. And the black skin and lighter skin of that is at the bottom. When, as we know, the white man has created this world where the bottom is the top and the top is the bottom, and vice versa. Everything is in reverse. So when we realize that and accept the reality of our ancestors who are telling us to calm down, unite, and fight. Because once that first bullet is fired, white people gonna give up. That's it. That's how weak they are. They pull off the illusion of greatness, the illusion of being unconquerable. And they know that we are the Lions of Judah. They know that we have everything that we need that they want, but it's really in our hands. Every spade is in our hands. And once we recognize that, Brother Emil, our people is off and running again. And the black man's voice, when we speak, the world will fucking stop, look up, and listen. Because these people that we call white today, have, have always been a pile of shit. It is like we are the bees of humanity, producing the honey, and all white folks do is land on shit, fuck shit, have babies and shit, doing everything and shit. So why would we waste time? Why would a bee waste time trying to explain to a fly that honey tastes better than shit? It's not possible.
Exactly.
And so with that, I really appreciate you coming on. And next
Yeah,
week, if you want,
bees don't do that. They operate in their own sense of, um, what's the, what's the word I'm saying? I'm looking for. Okay, for lack of a better word, reality and rhythm. They don't
mhm,
waste time, communicating with other insects but their own, and
right,
that's what melanated people worldwide need to do.
right,
So
right,
that's how I see um Abraham Traore handling business.
yeah.
But
I
he also needs to keep the fucking Ruskies and the fucking Ching Chongs out as well.
well, I agree with everything you said tonight. I really appreciate you coming on. And if you want to come on next week or every week or every other week, I'll always send you the link, and that way, if you want to come on and let you know what beforehand, let you know what we're going to be talking about. But it's always
Okay.
something very important, on point, and current, and even going back in time through the civil rights movement, whatever the case may be, because all of this has to come to the front burner, so that we are always on point. We understand that history repeats itself, and once we understand history, we can. When we understand history or the past, when we know the past, we can understand the present and predict the future. And it really is just that simple. But again, but email, I appreciate you being on, and I'm looking forward to every time that you come on, because this was a very good subject that you presented. So I wasn't really trying to do Traore, but I thought about it, and
Well,
I've
you
been
need
watching.
to. You need to. Everyone
Yeah,
must.
yeah,
Even
yeah, yeah.
even 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 Brother Maurice needs to talk more about Traore
All
because
right. Oh,
he talked about all these other subjects that,
yeah.
in my opinion, are of a lesser importance than Traore.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
because Maurice always talks about how he's at war with white people. Well,
Hmm.
I hate to break this to you. No other black men on earth is at war with white people than Abraham Traore.
Yeah. Well, that's him. That's his show. However you want to do it. I'm in
Yeah,
a.
yeah, it's a show at the end of the day.
Yeah, but he got to get away from talking about white folk, because that's his thing, and he hasn't yet to kill the nigga in him yet. But that's him. That's my brother. But I'm gonna have to be very real. He has not killed the nigga in him. And one of the things that Dr. Jones said to him was true. I told him what the 3/5 bullshit they were talking about had nothing to do with niggas or you being 3/5 human. Oh yeah, dude. Blah blah blah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then Dr. James Jones came on and said, "Yeah, Isaiah's right. No, you're wrong.
Wait,
Oh,
what were y'all talking about?
no,
I'm
it
a
was
little
yeah,
confused.
it was a while ago when Dr. James was on the show. Doctor yeah, James
James
Jones.
Jones. Yeah, I
Right.
remember him.
Yeah. So we're talking about something, and Brother Marie always trying to interject and making it look like he know what he's talking about. But Dr. Jones put him in his place and saying Isaiah was right. 3/5 had nothing to do with being 3/5 human, and he had to shut up then. But that's him. Everybody want to be somebody, but you just got to accept your role as a nobody. But anyway, I thank you for coming on the show, and always remember for the next 24/7, 365, stay black. I'll see you next time. Peace, man. You know that.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I
next
hope
Saturday.
you
I
have
don't
a
know.
good rest of your weekend and stay safe.
Yeah,
Stay
you
safe
too,
as
man.
always.
Yeah, say hey to everybody in your family. All right,
Yeah.
all right, peace, man.
Peace.
Stay black.
Yep.